Oh, it finally happened. The prince of Atl thought he was running the streets, but now the streets are running him. Because yes, Ti's son King Harris has landed himself in one of the ugliest situations imaginable, a jailhouse. Confrontation gone all the way left. Reports are flying in that king decided to check the wrong people behind bars. And let's just say that crown slipped faster than his confidence. This isn't your average celebrity kid in trouble story. This is pure chaos. The kind of chaos that makes the Kardashians look like preschool field trips. One moment, King was bragging about being real, and the next, he's surrounded by people who've never heard of family hustle, but definitely know how to hustle families. Allegedly, things got heated. Threats were made, voices were raised, and fists might have flown. I reportedly got the call no father ever wants to hear. Your son's in trouble. Again. And from what insiders are saying, the situation inside got ugly. Fast. So how did King Harris, raised in luxury, groomed in fame, protected by money, end up getting schooled by the streets he swore he owned? Oh, buckle up, because this one gets darker, funnier, and messier than you think. This is Trent Tattle and the tea. It's officially on fire. It all started with one simple mistake: King Harris thinking jail was an arena for respect instead of survival. You think being the son of T.I., a man who turned Atlanta hustle into generational wealth, would teach King a thing or two about reading the room. But apparently, the only room King wanted to read was the one full of chaos, tension, and bad decisions. According to multiple insiders, the kind who know everything 5 minutes after it happens, King got into a heated confrontation inside the facility after mouthing off to the wrong crew. And no, not just any crew, the kind of guys who treat intimidation like a full-time job. Witnesses said it started over something stupid, a seat. That's right. Apparently, King walked into the rec area, sat where he wasn't supposed to. And when someone told him to move, he allegedly fired back with, "I don't move for nobody." Big mistake. Because that might sound tough in a music video, but behind bars, that's like saying, "Please, make me a target." Word spread fast that the rapper's kid was in there acting like he ran the place. One inmate reportedly said, "He came in here like we supposed to be fans or something. This ain't no meet and greet." And that's when everything went downhill. King, already known for his fiery mouth and short fuse, started talking back. Voices rose. Chairs shifted. And before anyone could blink, a full-on shouting match broke out. One source claimed King got surrounded by a few inmates who decided to humble the celebrity. And from the way people are describing it, they weren't talking about an autograph session. Now, to give you context, this isn't King's first time brushing up against controversy. The boy's been on a wild ride for months, from viral clips arguing with fans, to cussing out restaurant staff, to beefing with grown men on Instagram Live. He's been trying to convince the world that he's not just T.I. and Tiny's spoiled son, but a real one. Well, reality just introduced itself with no filter. Reports say that as the argument escalated, one of the older inmates called him out directly. "You keep talking like you from the streets. You ain't built for this. Your daddy famous, you not." That line reportedly hit King harder than any punch could. But before he could clap back, the situation exploded. Some claim a scuffle broke out. Others say the guards stepped in just in time before it got physical. But everyone agrees on one thing: King got the message loud and clear. He picked the wrong fight with the wrong people. By that night, word had already leaked online. Jail staff couldn't even keep it under wraps, because the moment you put a celebrity's kid in a room full of people with phones on the outside, your privacy is about as safe as a Twitter password after a breakup. Within hours, blogs were running headlines like "King Harris in trouble behind bars," "T.I.'s son confronts inmates," and "Luxury meets lockdown." The story spread like wildfire, and everyone had something to say. But the part that nobody saw coming? The phone call home. Apparently, King called his father not long after the confrontation. And from what insiders are whispering, it wasn't a confident call. It was a scared one. T.I., who's been trying to teach King real-world lessons for years, reportedly answered the phone with silence. You could almost picture him sitting there, rubbing his temples, thinking, "Lord, this boy done turned my lyrics into a prophecy." Remember that time T.I. warned him publicly, saying, "You want to find out the hard way? Go ahead, but life gon' teach you." Well, Life just enrolled King in a masterclass with no refund. Tiny, on the other hand, was devastated. Insiders say she cried after hearing what happened, telling friends she knew this would happen eventually if he didn't slow down. But King? He was reportedly trying to act calm, that I got this energy even while his voice was shaking. According to one source close to the family, King told his father, "They tried me, Pop. I ain't back down. I stood on business." And you know, T.I. probably sighed so hard the house shook, because this wasn't standing on business. This was playing with fire. And realizing too late that fire burns both ways. The craziest part? Some reports say that T.I. didn't rush to pull strings. He didn't call in favors. He didn't try to rescue him immediately. Instead, he allegedly told his team to let him sit for a bit. That's right. The same father who built an empire from rap, movies, and reality TV decided to let his son experience the consequences in real time, and honestly, that might be the smartest move he's made yet, because King's been out here acting untouchable, like being T.I.'s son makes him bulletproof, but now? He's finding out fame doesn't protect you from fists, fear, or facts. Out by morning, word inside the facility had spread that T.I.'s boy got checked. Some people were joking. Some were sympathetic. But everyone agreed he wasn't the same kid walking around all loud anymore. Even the guards allegedly told him, "This ain't your daddy's world, son. This is ours." That line alone? Straight out of a movie. Meanwhile, social media was doing what it does best, turning pain into content. TikTok was flooded with reenactments, fake jail calls, and memes of King with captions like, "When real life hits harder than the beat." Twitter turned it into a debate. Some said this was the wake-up call he needed. Others said T.I. was too hard on him. But one viral tweet summed it up perfectly. King spent his whole life trying to prove he's from the streets. Now the streets proving they don't know him. And that's the thing, King's story is a walking contradiction. Raised in mansions, educated in private schools, yet constantly trying to convince people he's from the trenches. It's like trying to cosplay poverty for credibility, but the streets don't give out credibility cards, they give out lessons. And King just got his first semester report card. The internet's watching. His family's worried. His father's fuming, and King? He's realizing that no amount of fame, money, or last name can save you from the consequences of acting reckless. But this story? Oh, it doesn't stop here. Because if you thought one jail confrontation was bad, wait until you hear what came next when celebs, fans, Eves, and even T.I. himself turned this into one of the most viral, messy, and shocking father-son moments hip-hop has seen in years. The next part of this story? Pure chaos and everyone's picking sides. By sunrise, King Harris's name wasn't just trending. It was dominating every social feed like a scandal on steroids. From Atlanta barbershops to Hollywood podcasts, everyone was asking the same question: what did he do this time? And this time, the answer wasn't a flashy car, a viral rant, or another spoiled meltdown. Nope, this was real life, the kind of mess even PR teams can't mop up. Inside the jail, word had spread that the rapper kid got into it with a group of older inmates. Apparently, these weren't your average dudes. They were seasoned veterans of the system. The kind of men who can size up weakness faster than you can say family hustle. One inmate reportedly told a friend on the outside, "Lil dude came in here acting like we was supposed to respect him. All we respect in here is time served." And that line hit social media like a grenade. Fans started remixing it into memes, TikToks, and even fake rap verses. One viral edit showed King's face photoshopped onto a mugshot next to the caption, "All that talking. Now time served is serving you." Twitter went viral. King been trying to earn stripes, now he got an orange. Bro wanted to be gangsta so bad. He's doing method acting. He thought jail was a photo shoot, not a reality check. And while the jokes poured in, the real situation inside was far from funny. Sources close to the Harris family said that after the initial confrontation, King was isolated for his own safety. Not because he was in danger, but because the guards realized the other inmates were circling him like TMZ on a scandal. Some wanted clout, others wanted chaos. Either way, King was the entertainment of the week. But let's be honest, King didn't end up in this mess overnight. This was a slow burn meltdown, years in the making. Remember last year when he went viral for arguing with his parents on live? saying, "Y'all can't tell me nothing. I've been outside." Or when he bragged about fighting at Waffle House because he's not soft. Well, turns out all that chest pounding was a prelude to this exact moment. Because when you spend all your energy trying to prove you're real, life eventually gives you a chance to demonstrate it. And guess what? King flunked the exam. According to insiders, King was caught completely off guard by how fast things turned ugly. One witness said he thought he could talk his way out. But the more he talked, the worse it got. That's the danger of being raised in two worlds, one of fame and one of fantasy. King's been living in the middle his whole life. Mansion 1 minute, Instagram live arguments the next. And now he's learning the hard way that the real ones he idolized don't play fair. Meanwhile, T.I. was reportedly furious, not just because of what happened, but because of how public it became. You know it's bad when your son's jail drama trends higher than your last 3 albums combined. Insiders say Tip was pacing around his Atlanta home like a disappointed pastor, muttering, I told him this would happen." Tiny, on the other hand, was heartbroken. She didn't care about the internet noise. She just wanted her baby out and safe, one family friend spilled. Tiny's the emotional one. She was ready to call everybody she knows, lawyers, judges, even old friends from VH1. T.I. told her to chill. He said he wanted to learn. Let him learn. That quote went viral instantly. Within hours, it became a meme. T.I.'s face with the caption, "He wanted to learn? Let him learn." But not everyone thought it was harsh. Some fans praised T.I. for finally letting King feel consequences. One tweet with over 100K likes said, T.I. letting his son sit for a while might be the best parenting move of 2025. Meanwhile, inside the facility, King was dealing with a brand new problem. Word got back to the same group. He argued with that his daddy was making calls. Apparently, one of the guards joked about it, saying, "Your pop's calling the higher-ups, huh? Must be nice." And that comment? It didn't sit right with the inmates. So when King got moved to another section, the tension followed. By midweek, rumors started swirling that another confrontation had gone down, this time verbal, not physical. According to one insider, King had snapped, saying, "I ain't scared of nobody in here." Famous last words. The rumor mill exploded again. Did King get jumped? Did someone check him again? Nobody knows for sure, but the story grew legs and sprinted across social media faster than you can refresh a blog. Even Boosie. Badass chimed in because apparently, Boosie has appointed himself unofficial mentor of all troubled celebrity kids. Man, I tried to tell him. You can't fake that. Jail gon' show you who real and who pretending. T.I. better go talk to that boy before somebody else does. And if that wasn't messy enough, 50 Cent, king of internet trolling, threw his own punchline on Instagram. He posted a fake quote card of T.I. saying, "I told him don't test the streets, now the street's testing him," with the caption, "Somebody write this movie already." The memes kept rolling, but behind the scenes, the Harris family was scrambling. A family insider said T.I. was caught between embarrassment and fatherly instinct. On one hand, he didn't want a baby King. On the other, he didn't want to see him broken. So instead of calling the press, T.I. called a pastor. Yep. The same pastor who helped him turn his own life around years ago reportedly visited King for a private talk. According to witnesses, that conversation left King quiet and emotional. One guard even said he wasn't walking around loud no more. You could tell something clicked. But don't cue the redemption music just yet, because the story didn't end there. When King returned to his cell, another inmate shouted, "Hey rich boy, you still think you're tough?" And King reportedly said nothing. No reaction, no backtalk. Just silence, and that silence? It spoke louder than every flex, every viral clip, every empty tough guy quote he'd ever posted. By then, fans online were actually starting to sympathize. The energy shifted from jokes to concern. One comment under the shade room summed it up perfectly. "Y'all laugh now, but this boy needed a wake-up call. Maybe he'll finally grow up." And that's when everything flipped again. Because while the internet was debating whether King had finally learned his lesson, T.I. did something unexpected. He spoke out, not through PR, not through press releases, but on live. And what he said sent chills down everyone's spine, including King's. He looked straight into the camera and said, "Ain't no amount of money fame, or privilege that can save you from bad decisions. My son learned that the hard way. But I'd rather see him humble than lost. That one line turned the whole internet upside down. Comments flooded in. That's real parenting. Finally, T.I. keeping it 100. He said that with pain in his chest. And just when he thought the storm was passing, another leak dropped. A short clip of King's shirt wrinkled, face tired, walking through the hallway, escorted by guards. It wasn't violent, it wasn't dramatic, but it looked defeated. That clip alone reignited everything. The sympathy turned into concern. The memes stopped. And suddenly, everyone realized this wasn't entertainment anymore. It was a young man finally realizing the streets he glamorized. Don't care who his father is, but hold that thought. Because what happened after his release took this entire story from tragedy to transformation. When King Harris finally walked out of that jailhouse, you could practically feel the internet holding its breath. Cameras clicked, reporters hovered, and for once, King didn't say a single word. No tough talk, no I'm good, no signature smirk, just silence. And that silence? It was louder than any of his rants ever. We're the same kid who spent months on Instagram Live trying to convince the world that he was built for this, now looked like he'd just come face to face with the part of this nobody ever wants to see. The viral prince of privilege had just met the real world. And the real world doesn't care about clout. Within minutes, TMZ dropped the headline. T.I.'s son King released after jail confrontation, family vows to getting him right. And trust me, that's when things got messy again. Because while the internet wanted a redemption story, King's return home didn't start with hugs and forgiveness. It started with confrontation, the kind that doesn't happen on live, but behind closed doors. According to multiple insiders, the energy in the Harris household was tense. Tiny was relieved but still emotional. She allegedly told friends, "I just thank God he's safe. I don't care about the internet. I just want my baby home." But T.I.? Oh, he was fuming. Not furious in a loud, screaming way, but in that calm, terrifying, "I'm disappointed beyond words" way. One source close to the family said, T.I. told King straight up, "You embarrassed this family. But more than that, you embarrassed yourself." That line alone? Chills. They say King didn't talk back this time. Didn't interrupt. Didn't puff his chest. Just nodded. For the first time in a long time, he looked humbled, and honestly, that humility might have been the only thing that saved him, because outside the mansion gates, the internet had already written the narrative. King got punked. King's soft. King's finally realized money doesn't make you tough. It was brutal, but in true Harris family fashion, T.I. wasn't going to let the public control his son's story. He was going to control it himself within 48 hours. T.I. did what only T.I. could do. He turned real-life drama into a masterclass in fatherhood and fallout. He hopped on Instagram Live and delivered one of the most viral speeches of his career. No shouting. No defending. Just cold Southern wisdom soaked in disappointment. My son thought he could walk a path. I done already walked a path I barely made it out of. I told him, "You keep playing with the streets gon' play back." Well, now he see it ain't no game. The Leave hit over 3 million views in 24 hours. Fans called it fatherhood unfiltered. Even people who used to clown King started showing respect for T.I. as a dad. Comments flooded in like confessions. "He sounds like every dad who had to watch his son learn the hard way. This is what accountability looks like." King needed this lesson more than he needed a lawyer. But of course, social media being social media, not everyone was clapping. Some critics accused T.I. of turning his son's pain into a PR sermon. Others said he was using it to stay relevant. One viral post said, "T.I. got his son crying behind bars and turned it into a motivational speech." Respectfully, that's wild. And as the internet battled it out, King himself finally broke his silence. He went live late one night. Hoodie up, face serious, none of that performative energy. His tone was low, his words careful. Everybody think they know what happened. Y'all don't, but yeah. I messed up. I thought I could handle more than I could. It ain't sweet like it look online. I learned that. That was it. No excuses. No fake tears. Just an admission that the same life he glamorized nearly ate him alive. And that clip? It went viral instantly. People flooded his comments with a mix of tough love and empathy. Now you sounding like a man, finally speaking from the heart. This might be the first time I respect something King said. The first time I respect something King said. Even Boosie, who'd been roasting him nonstop, reposted it with the caption, "Now that's growth." I'll give him that. The shift was surreal. The same public that had mocked King for weeks suddenly started rooting for him. Podcasts labeled it a coming-of-age story. Bloggers started spinning it as a young man humbled by the streets. But behind the trending topics and viral clips, the story hit deeper. Because what really happened wasn't just a fight in jail. It was a fight with identity. King spent years caught between two worlds. The world of fame and comfort he was born into, and the gritty world of authenticity he idolized. He thought toughness was about how loud you talk, how many people fear you, or how many followers you can flex on. But after a few nights locked up, he finally learned toughness isn't about talk. It's about surviving when nobody's watching. And the irony? The same people who laughed at his breakdown were now quoting his words like he'd just dropped a mixtape of truth. Meanwhile, T.I. took that momentum and ran with it. He started doing interviews saying things like, "I love my son, but love don't mean protecting him from pain. Sometimes you gotta let the fire burn to learn it's hot." That quote alone turned into a slogan. Merch stores started printing shirts saying "Fire burns, lessons earned." You can't make this stuff up. But the biggest twist came a week later when T.I. and King appeared together at a charity event in Atlanta. They showed up side by side. No flashy cars, no wild outfits, no attitude. Just father and son, both quiet, both humbled. Cameras caught them sharing a brief handshake, not staged, not fake, and it said more than any speech ever could. The world had just witnessed something rare in celebrity culture, a real lesson learned. Not scripted for clicks, but of course, the blogs couldn't resist. The Shade Room posted, "T.I. and King reunite, after the storm comes the lesson." Even 50 Cent, yes 50 Cent, posted a side-by-side pic with the caption, "Sometimes it take a fall to find your footing. Salute." Now, was that sincere or petty? Who knows, it's 50. But either way, the internet ate it up. And just when everyone thought the chaos had finally settled, King dropped a cryptic post of his own. A photo of himself sitting on a staircase, head down, captioned, "Not trying to be real no more. Just trying to be better." Mic drop, that one line sealed it. The memes stopped. The jokes faded. The kid everyone wrote off as another spoiled celebrity had officially entered his redemption arc. And as for T.I., he didn't need to say another word. He'd done what every real parent prays to do, teach his kid before the world destroys him. Now the only question left is this. Will King Harris really stay humble? Or will fame tempt him again? Because one thing's for sure, in the Harris household, lessons aren't taught in classrooms. They're taught in headlines, and this one was written in permanent ink. And that's the saga. Folks, from flexing for fame to fighting for survival, King Harris just lived through the kind of plot twist Hollywood couldn't even script. The son of Atlanta royalty finally found out that the streets don't care about status, followers, or famous last names. Only respect earned the hard way. So now we gotta ask, was this the reality check that finally wakes King up? Or is this just the first chapter in a much bigger meltdown? Because if history's any clue, the Harris household doesn't stay quiet for long. Drop your thoughts below. Did T.I. handle this like a real father? Or did he go too far by letting his son sit in that cell to learn his lesson? Be honest. Be savage. Be loud. The comments section is open for confessions. And before you scroll, do one thing: smash that like button like King smashed his ego. Hit subscribe so you never miss another wild celebrity breakdown. And ring that notification bell like it owes you commissary. Because around here, we don't do calm, we do chaos with commentary. You already know what this is. Trend Tattle. The only place where scandals speak louder than statements. And we sip the tea straight from the source, piping hot, unfiltered, and slightly disrespectful. Stay tuned, stay nosy. And remember, in a world where clout crashes faster than a Lambo on live, the realest thing you can be is quiet for once. This is Trend Tattle signing off, where the drama never dies, it just gets reposted.